Well, and of course that's to me that talks about the coach, right? That's the coach isn't relating to the players and getting the most out of the talent that you're given. Um, Speaking of LaFontaine, there was a hit that he took that knocked him out of the lineup, and you were told by the management of the team to go ahead and play Pat anyway, and you refused to do that. And I think we got a clip. I believe it was Pat talking about that situation. Vic, is that ready?
And LaFontaine was hammered by LaRue. And now here's Ray going after LaRue. Guys were coming up to me and said, "You look pale. You okay? You look white." And I said, "I think I'm okay." And, the doctors had checked me out. And it really wasn't until the next day when Teddy called me in his office that everything changed. He just said, are you okay? I'm concerned for you. Something's not right. Wasn't sleeping. My head was racing. I had headaches. And when Teddy said that to me, I broke down. And I said, I think something's wrong. And he said, that's it. He says, I'm not letting you play. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not letting you play anymore. That's it.
Right. And that was obviously, Ted, that's the right thing to do. And I don't think there's a very many people on planet Earth who would argue that. But yet, as a result of you making the decision on the player's behalf, which is, in my estimation, is kind of what your job is, you took a lot of grief for that, and as a result of that, people came up with all kinds of BS about you, and including this business that you might be a GM killer, like Don Cherry called you out as a somebody like that, and to me, it's like, when I look back and I see what happened and I see what you did, and it's like, wow. How did you feel? Like I mean, looking back at that now, do you have any regrets about that?
I have no regrets whatsoever, Joe. I mean, when I talked to Patty, one thing I really learned, and from my own personal experience, I never went into a season. I never played a game or went through with any coach that ever brought me in the office and say, "Hey Ted, how you doing today?" Or how you feeling? Because I believe all athletes have bad games for whatever reason, and coaches or management just think they're having a bad game because they don't care. It has nothing to do with that. It's something that happened in your life. But if you don't know, how you gonna find out everybody? So I really when I coach, I really wanted to get to know the athlete as best as I can, and talk quite a bit. And when I talked to Patty after he came back, I knew something was wrong. He just wasn't commuting properly. His eyeballs were kind of off center a little bit. He wasn't himself. And so when I said he wasn't going to play, I immediately got a call from the general manager, about 2 hour later, and said, I have to play him. We pay him X amount of dollars. He's got to play. And I said, something's wrong with him. And they said, asked me if I was a doctor, which I said, no, I'm not. The doctors cleared him. Then I got a call from the owner. The owner told me to play him. We pay him X amount of dollars, and you're going to play him. And I said no. And I knew, Joe, right there when I declined not to. I knew my days in Buffalo were going to be numbered. Because everybody in sport, they take directions from and they listen, and I don't really believe in that method. I believe when I first got everybody, they always said everybody has to be on the same page. I'm going, if everybody's on the same page all the time, it's going to be a pretty boring book. It really is.
Hmm.
I just think everybody has to make their own decision. So when I did that, I knew I was in trouble, and but it was the best decision I ever made. I thought I was going to get a pat on the back at the end and say, "Great job." No, I didn't, and then they can't justify letting you go because of the way the team is going. So they have to justify it some other place. Then all of a sudden you start hearing rumors out. What's the best one to do with a First Nation guy? Let's say he's drinking. Let's say he's drunk at practice. Then you hear all these rumors. I'm going. It just it got to a point. It was gut wrenching. It really was. And and to sit down and everybody said, well, why don't you fight? You can't fight against $1 billion company. So I just took it and walked away. Then there's rumors that I turned down 3-year contracts. I was having affairs with players' wives. I mean, all this stupid stuff. I'm just going, and And then my boys were old enough to read the newspapers and read and understand. So I thought the more if I stayed in, the more this garbage would happen. So I walked away. I really did. I just walked away, and I said,